Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Alan.
And you are tuned in to the GG Dispatch. Each week, bright and early on Tuesdays, we consolidate the week's biggest headlines in gaming news. Whether you're listening in on your commute, during your workout, or just have us on in the background, we thank you all for listening in. It is, currently Monday the 8th, but you are listening to this on Tuesday, January the 9th. And we have 5 stories to cover today. I was telling Alan before we came online, I've had more time to game. I just haven't put any hours into GTA 5 recently because I've been putting a bunch of hours into Scarlet Nexus because I made a resolution to beat 2 games a month this year. So I don't know if I shared that before, but that's my resolution. I think I did share that last week. And so I'm getting close on Scarlet Nexus. I'm close to tying up that one with a bow. But I think getting some GTA 5 playtime kind of tucked in there is my goal. What about you, Alan? Are you working on any other titles right now that you're working towards completion on, or just sort of keeping yourself entertained with other stuff?
Me, man, just mostly Fortnite. Although I did almost hit a stumbling block on this GTA 5 thing because I kind of got lazy. I do have it on PC thanks to Epic Games, the free games they give out, and one of them was GTA 5. But it was easier to play it on my Xbox, but it actually left Game Pass. I was like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Luckily, I do have a PS5 and I do have PlayStation Extra, and it's on there now. So I went ahead and downloaded that on the PS5, and I was able to catch up to where we were before. Although I will say that one of the cool things that I didn't get on the Xbox that I'm really enjoying here is the audio that comes through the speaker on the controller. Like it really adds
that's pretty dope. Yeah,
a different sort of element that you just don't get on Xbox. Like you don't really feel it or recognize it. You're actually using it. I really like that. That was a really fun, nice touch.
Yeah, for sure. It's a double-edged sword. I think sometimes it is a super cool feature, and I really like it. Other times, though, it's like if you're playing Death Stranding, it's super annoying because every time you fall over, you hear the baby crying through the speaker on the controller.
Oh god.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. It's sort of like a win some lose some scenario. So I'm usually rocking the Pulse headset, and I dig the audio through there. But when I do have my headset off, if it's charging or if I'm just kind of casually playing, it's cool to incorporate the audio through the controller.
Yeah, it actually did take a little bit of an L because as I was playing this, I started noticing that I'm getting a coil whine coming from the power supply on my PS5. It's the worst.
Oh no!
Because it's not like the PS5 doesn't work or that it's being buggy or crashing. It works fine. It's making that really obnoxious buzzing sound that anybody who's used electronics before kind of can pick out, and it's just super annoying. So that sucks. Oh. Now I really can't wait for a PS5 Pro so I can trade this in and upgrade.
You're like, okay, it's like you're doing the math, right? You're like, okay, well, really this justifies the expense now because it's making this annoying noise. So now I have to buy the PS5 Pro.
So, exactly, gamer math.
It works out. In the end, it all works out. Or you can try just like the old days, like just pick it up and like blow along the back or something, or give it a good shake. That might fix it. Don't shake your PS5, everybody. All right. So 5 stories. Let's go ahead and dig into top of the stories here. Unfortunate news, kind of a continuation of the 2023 trend with Unity laying off 25% of its staff, about 1,800 jobs. So this is from Emma Roth at The Verge. So it says Unity is undergoing yet another layoff, and this time it's going to affect about 25% of its entire workforce, or around 1,800 employees. In a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the company, which makes the popular game engine Unity, said it's making the cuts as it restructures and refocuses on its core business and to position itself for long-term and profitable growth. Um, it goes on to say Unity has been through several rounds of layoffs within the past year, with the most recent one affecting 265 workers last November. However, it's still not clear whether Unity is cutting 1,800 additional workers on top of the layoffs it announced last year, and they are pending clarification from Unity on that. But yeah, I mean, obviously there were a number of kind of swings and misses from Unity in the past year, and of course, it's not a great way to kick off 2024 with more of this news. So, I don't know, Alan, you have any reaction to this?
Not at all surprising, especially once they got pushed back on their like monetization plans, and that everyone just absolutely hated. They had to just roll it back. So it's like it's inevitable. They're like, okay, so you're not going to let us make a bunch of money, then well, we're going to cut 1,800 jobs. Then how about that? It sucks. I know that 2023 was a really rough year for the people who make the games that we love so much, and 2024 might not be better, which really sucks.
Yeah,
Uh, it's just shocking to me that like it seems like this company was on pretty good footing. They were making good money. From some things that I read online, like their shares are like as high as like $200 a share, which is that's a lot of money. So I don't understand why all of a sudden they're just like, oh, we gotta get even more money. We gotta cut all these jobs. But yeah, it's
yeah, for sure. Um, so it is really unfortunate that the folks that are working so hard to make our games are in such a tenuous industry. If if you haven't had a chance to read them yet, if you're listening to this, I would highly recommend Jason Schreier's books on the topic, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and Press. I think it's Press Reset or Press Restart. I don't remember exactly. Both of them are really great works that kind of detail a bit more the whole process of what goes into making video games, as well as great anecdotes and snapshots of folks that are in the industry and the challenges that they go through, especially in Press Reset. So yeah, really unfortunate to start the year off this way, and wishing everyone who is affected a speedy recovery and that they land on their feet quickly. So story number two, and a bit more bright news, I guess, or optimistic news, or just kind of a positive slice of life news. A 13-year-old kid from Oklahoma beat Tetris, which is pretty awesome. So this is from Angela Watercutter at Wired. A 13-year-old kid has seemingly beat Tetris, long believed impossible or a myth. The magical feat took place on December 21st and apparently shocked even the player. Willis Gibson, who reached level 157 and launched the heretofore unseen kill screen, where the game crashes and there's nothing left to play, posted a video of his success, and he had said, he said, "Oh my God, I'm going to pass out," et cetera, et cetera. And so this it kind of went all around Twitter. People were giving this kid props and everything else. Of course, it did pick up some negative press because I think an Australian news anchor sort of decided to make fun of this kid for being really good at Tetris and said that it didn't amount to much and that he should go outside and touch grass.
yeah, buzzkill.
Buzzkill, buzzkill. To which I say, like, you try hitting level 157 in Tetris, lady. But other than that, I think it's been really cool to see sort of the positive energy around this story. And yeah, I mean, he beat Tetris. I did not think this was possible. I mean, Alan, are you much of a puzzler type guy? Like, do you play a lot of puzzle games, or did you ever when you were younger?
So I actually have played Tetris before. Like I know that Tetris was it Connect, kind of the most recent one that was like in VR and everything, and
I, I know there was Tetris 99 or something. Like they made like a competitive like online version.
no, not that one. The one that was like really trippy and there's like music and like crazy looking visuals.
Oh no,
Um,
I don't remember that one.
okay, then so I played that one. So,
Okay.
but like very casually, I'll just kind of play whatever levels. I'm not like going for the kill screen or trying to get crazy high scores or anything like that. I rarely make it like that high up. So for me, that was really impressive. Like when you're watching the video of him like playing this and how fast those pieces are coming in, like
Yeah.
it's insane that he was able to get to that point. So yeah, good vibe.
Yeah, seriously. I play a bit of Puzzle Fighter. Luminous. I played a lot of Luminous on the PSP back in the day. Um, I enjoy a good puzzle game. And I played a bit of Tetris when I was younger. I had a Tetris cartridge on the NES and spent quite a bit of time with it. Um, but yeah, tip my hat to this young man. Well done on beating Tetris and doing something that pretty much the entire gaming community didn't think was possible. So hats off to you, Willis Gibson. All right. Next up, story number 3. AMD announces 1440p ready 7600 XT desktop GPU. That was a lot of letters. So this is from Taylor Lyles at IGN. So this is aimed at 1440p gamers on a budget. So it says AMD's Radeon RX 7600 XT will be available on January 24th at an affordable price of $329. So this is a sub $400 game, which is amazing, or a sub $400 video card, which is awesome. It features 16 gigabytes of memory with power consumption increased to 190 watts from 165 on the RX 7600. Has the same compute unit, AI accelerators, memory speed, and stream processors as the original RX 7600. So that's pretty awesome. An affordable 1440p card, which is great to see. On the other hand, AMD announced, or NVIDIA rather, announced their new RTX 40 graphics cards, which start at $599. And so, starting with the RTX 4070 Super, which will launch on the 17th, starting at $599, and it goes up from there. So, yeah, I mean, I just put some additional RAM into my machine. I think we had chatted about this in one of the episodes back in like November or something, where I was talking about upgrading my PC, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was pretty happy with most of what I had. I just upgraded my network card. I just updated my RAM, so I went up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. But otherwise, I haven't really been itching to like upgrade my video card. But honestly, seeing this 1440p ready card for 329, I am mightily tempted. Like that's not bad to be sitting on a card that I could be using for quite some time.
Yeah, if the performance actually holds up and it's not just AMD, because they these are a lot of the benchmarks that they put out and they can say it's doing this or doing that, but you really got to wait for third party independent reviewers to get their hands on it and verify all this. So, but if it checks out at 329, that's really good. If you look at what Nvidia has, with their newest line of supercards, which got less expensive, but still really expensive. That RTX 4070 starts at 599. Personally, I would like to see that at like 499, and I think most gamers would like to see that at 499. But at
Right.
the very least, AMD is delivering, or appears to be delivering, a really good value at 329.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how like some of the initial reviews come out, and how people are enjoying it in their rigs and their setups and everything, and go from there. But honestly, yeah, the price itself is pretty tempting, and so I hope that it pans out. I hope that gamers are able to secure a high performing card at a decent price, because of course the last few years, especially starting with COVID, like GPUs have just become nearly impossible to nail down at decent prices, especially good performing ones. Um, so yeah, I think as the market continues to recover, and we see some more of these moderately priced cards that can still deliver some great value, I'm all about that news for sure.
And hopefully it pressures Nvidia as well to start lowering even more.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know if their stock is any indication, man. Like their stock just passed $500 a share today. Like
Yeah, I know.
they're
It's a
they're
gamer's super wishful thinking.
yeah, I know. It's just nuts to see, like, oh, man, Nvidia's ride this last year has been insane, like, to be honest. And I mean, a lot of it is kind of like AI, but there's also, of course, their GPU business and their video card business that's influencing that. And so um, I don't think they see much of a calling to lower the prices just yet. But in the meantime, AMD will win over some customers, and if the card's good, then they'll stick around. So, um, all right, story number 4. Nintendo Switch 2's latest news might actually be a good thing. This is from Ben Brosofsky, sorry, at Screen Rant. So, kind of high level here, the Nintendo Switch 2 is likely to be an iterative console, maintaining the design of the current system but adding some frills. The Switch 2 needs to address the issue of graphics capability, as the current Switch struggles to handle multi-platform releases. A successor that modestly iterates on the original would be best for the concept. And the balance between home use and portability should be maintained in the Switch 2, and the price should not be raised dramatically. That's just sort of like general thoughts and commentary on what the Switch 2 could be. But basically, there's been conversation that the Switch 2 is not planned to be a major revolutionary redesign, but instead just improving the performance, maintaining the general form factor. And of course, there's been a lot of talk about backwards compatibility as well. And so making sure that extensive Switch library can all come over to the Switch 2 without much of an issue, I think is also definitely on the radar. I don't know what do you hope for out of the Switch 2, Alan? Like what are you wanting from this system? Would you be happy if the entire next gen of Nintendo looks very similar to this gen?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what the vast majority of us want is the Switch 2 to kind of be just a better, faster, uh, longer battery life handheld. Really, I think that there's some concern that with I mean like with Nintendo's sort of history of like changing it up every single generation. I think that was a concern that they would just go do a hard left turn when you expect them to make a soft right turn. But yeah, I'm happy with hearing that that's what it's going to be like. And I do wonder though, do you think they'll keep around the OG Switch at $299 since this is supposed to be I think $399?
I don't know. I think if they keep it around, it'll cannibalize their system too much. And if the different so my thinking is I'm totally fine with them maintaining the form factor. I think they knocked it out of the park with the form factor. They arguably kind of spawned, and we'll get to this in a second, but like the Steam Deck and the MSI Claw and like all these new like handheld portables like for PC gaming, I think were very heavily influenced by the success that the Switch saw. And so um I'm glad that form factor is sort of sticking around. However, if they are going to improve the overall performance and the power and everything in it, um, I don't really see a world where they would maintain a lower price Switch in the market, like first party, like newly made, when the better version is $100 more. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't know if it's as different as like a PS4 versus a PS4 Pro. I think it is going to be a bit more drastic than that. And if you leave them both on the market, you could potentially open yourself up to having frustrated consumers who are like, I bought a Switch new last month and I can't play this game, right? Like because it's for the Switch too, right? And so
Okay,
that's
so trying to avoid a new Nintendo 3DS situation.
yes, 100%. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. So I think that's why we wouldn't necessarily see that. But I think aftermarket, of course, like we're gonna see the secondary market just get flooded with the previous Switches, like and even the Switch OLEDs. And so I think as it happens with most, new console launches, like that love will get kind of spread out to the secondary market and the gamers who are patient gamers who have been waiting around for the Switch and the Switch OLEDs to come down a bit in price before snatching one up. So, but I don't think Nintendo will maintain both in the market at the same time. Um, all right, we'll see. I we are seeing so much news and rumors about this. I'm still kind of banking on getting something about the Switch 2 in the next month or two officially from Nintendo. So I'm curious, curious if
Yeah,
that
I
pans
still
out.
say they don't launch this bad boy till 2025.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but all right. Story number 5, and actually we have a sneak story that snuck in here at the end. We'll chat about here in a second. Story number 5: Xbox exclusive Hi-Fi Rush rumored for Nintendo Switch. This is from Wesleyan Poole at IGN.com. Xbox hit Hi-Fi Rush is heavily rumored to be set for rival consoles, the Nintendo Switch, in 2024, sparking a vociferous debate about Microsoft's exclusives strategy. Insider Nate the Hate, who has a good track record when it comes to video game announcements, teased that a critically acclaimed Xbox exclusive is set to launch on a competing console platform. Um, and further conversation led people to think that it would be Hi-Fi Rush because it seems to be a good fit for the Switch aesthetic and Switch user base, etc. And uh, I saw some memes, like somebody posted like a Halo Switch that was like custom skin for like Master Chief's helmet looking on the controllers and stuff, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I think I'm pretty excited about the prospect. Hi-Fi Rush was a lot of fun, and yeah, the aesthetic and the general vibe definitely kind of screams Switch to me. But
Yeah, it definitely
yeah,
feels like this will do really well with Nintendo Switch audience. It's a
mhm.
very like laid back, good vibes type of game. And if and like I'm not a game dev, but it feels like those graphics should be scalable and they should be possible on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and also like this never got a physical release on the Xbox side of things, so maybe this is a chance to put out a physical version of the game.
hmm Yeah, and some people are also pointing to the timeline because Hi-Fi Rush came out in January of 2023, and so it's barely been a year, and now it's coming to other platforms. And so some folks are saying like, hey, like, does this make sense for Xbox in terms of their exclusive strategy to if gamers can rely on certain Xbox exclusive titles to come to other platforms a year after release, why would they have an Xbox platform, right?
Yeah, but I think
So
it's about being strategic too. It's not like
yeah,
they're putting Forza on the PlayStation 5 or
right.
Halo on the PlayStation 5. I feel like this game is like perfect, kind of like Ori, the Ori game that they put
Oh
out on
yeah,
Nintendo Switch as
yeah.
well. So it's
hmm
not like this isn't something that's new for Xbox to do, and I think that they'll keep going forward with that. Of like, okay, it makes sense for this game to be able to go to other platforms now that it's on Game Pass. All of our Xbox customers have had a chance to really give the game a go, and it's a chance for the game to get a second like a second win.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Kind of like what we were talking about with Baldur's Gate 3, right? Like Baldur's Gate 3 eventually making its way to Game Pass like in a year or two, right? To get that payday from
Yeah,
Xbox.
exactly.
Even though right now they're saying they wouldn't do it, eventually if Phil Spencer comes at your door with a dump truck full of money, you might say yes, right? So um yeah, no, I can see that for sure. All right, final story. Story number 6 snuck in here. Really, I just forgot to put it onto the main agenda at the beginning. So, MSI's Steam Deck competitor has leaked, and it's powered by an Intel Meteor Lake chip. This is from Tom Warren at The Verge. MSI is reportedly readying a new handheld gaming PC to rival Valve's Steam Deck and competitors like the Asus ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go. After a brief teaser yesterday, pictures of the MSI's Claw handheld have appeared on X, and been spotted on by video cards. Um, the claw looks similar to Asus's ROG Ally, complete with offset thumbsticks with what appears to be RGB lighting. Leaked benchmarks suggest that their handheld will be powered by one of Intel's latest Meteor Lake processors, a surprise choice given both Lenovo and Asus opted for AMD's Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor instead. Um, so yeah, we've got another another handheld PC coming to market, PC portable coming to market. And I was just kind of reflecting on this the other day. Like, it's really interesting how like this whole like subset of hardware has sort of sprung up over the last few years. Like this. Obviously we've had portables in the past, like yeah, the laptop, obviously, but like portable handhelds, like the Switch, like the PSP, like that sort of thing. And now for it to expand, with the help basically of Steam as a platform, to say, okay, Steam has got a ton of amazing indie games that are coming out all the time, Metroidvania titles, puzzlers, strategy, all these kinds of games, anything under the sun. And so why not create something handheld, something portable that gamers can take with them. But just seeing the various competitors and products out there on the market, it's just really really kind of cool to see. I don't know, Alan, what are your thoughts on these various options for what could be a Steam Deck replacement?
Yeah, it really shows that there's like a hunger for that in this market right now. That there's still space for more players to jump in,
Hmm.
and I think it's kind of like a warning shot to Nintendo, like, hey, you should probably put out that Switch 2 a little quicker than you'd like to, and it better be, it's got to have some decent horsepower under it, because people aren't going to wait for you. They're going to go and buy these sort of alternative sort of handhelds. What does surprise me about this one is the choice to go with an Intel chip,
Hmm.
because the reason all these other players in this space have chosen with AMD is because it's had a better battery life recently with its CPUs and what's called APUs, like the little SoCs that can do
Hmm.
CPU, GPU, and all that in one package. So it'll be interesting to see how it holds up battery life wise, and whether that ends up hurting it in opting to go with that Intel chip versus the AMD chip.
Hmm.
And also the big Achilles heel with a lot of these handhelds is that they don't have that custom OS that Steam Deck does with the Steam OS.
Right.
Windows, a lot of them have to like really make a whole new UI and like slap it on top of Windows, which can be pretty janky and not work well. It's using extra resources, so instead of it going towards powering your game, it's powering all the extra junk that they have to shoehorn in
Yeah,
there
it's
to
like the
actually get
the
it to work.
shell for the operating system. They have to like power all that
Exactly.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I'm wondering if Microsoft will like wake up and kind of go, oh wait, hang on a second, we need to make sort of a custom OS as well to kind of be in this space. So that these companies have something to actually like, be sort of on a one-to-one footing with with the Steam Deck. And the other interesting thing is, I wonder if Apple would make something like this, because they've got some pretty powerful chips with those M chips. And I mean, if you look at the MacBook Air that can run without fans, like they could probably come out with something sleeker than some of these slightly bulkier designs. People have pretty big catalogs on their iPhones or iPads. So to be able to bring out all those games on a more gamer centric, gamer friendly form factor, I think would be really interesting to see.
Yeah. I don't know. I think really for Apple, I think the extent to which we'll see that space, and I'm happy to be proven wrong on this, by the way, but I think the extent to which we'll see that is more of that support. Like for example, like with the iPad, right? Like you can pair your DualSense PS5 controller to your iPad and use remote play, and now you have your PS5 on the go, right? Um, and so what the expansion of sort of gaming opportunities with Apple hardware might look like is instead more partnerships, right? Like getting Steam, or getting studios to have more games work day one on Mac, with the Steam client, or, that sort of thing. I don't necessarily see Apple getting into like the hardware game of making something like that. I do see Microsoft packaging an OS that they could then ship to companies that want to make something like that in a more streamlined manner to help preserve that processing power for handheld systems. I absolutely could see Microsoft doing that. I think that would be really smart. Um, to basically open the door for other competitors. And that's the interesting thing about this whole subset of hardware as well, right? Like, it's not like in the console market where it's like, okay, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, like when you get to PC handheld, it's like, all right, all these studios are like rolling up their sleeves, like, okay, let's do this, let's go, like, so it will be interesting to see if Microsoft does package an OS like that, how that might open doors for other studios to kind of come to market and make make it possible for gamers to pick up a $200, $250, portable PC gaming solution, and bring the kind of the next generation of PC gaming to folks that way. So
No, I 100% agree with you. That Apple is that would be the least Apple thing. But man, could you imagine like the kick in the pants that would give Apple Arcade to have a device like that, to have sort of that sleek,
yeah,
cool, the design that Apple can bring to it.
yeah,
And we already know that it has already a pretty big game library. So all of a sudden, you got this device in a space that has a lot of excitement in it. A space
mm-hmm.
that people are showing that they want these devices. I just think it would be a huge missed opportunity for Apple to not do that. And it'd
Yeah,
be cool to have another entry, to have like SteamOS here, Windows here,
and then the Apple,
yeah, like
whatever the
handheld
Apple
OS
device
or
is.
whatever they call it.
Yeah,
Um, I think it'd be really cool, and I think that would really, kickstart. If Apple is really serious about gaming, they should do this.
mm-hmm. Time will tell. That's interesting, but yeah, I agree with Apple Arcade. I think that currently it is kind of a missed opportunity. Like, they've brought big names on in the past, right? Like, they've had what was it? Yeah, Kojima was on, I think, one of the, or not Kojima, but Hironobu Sakaguchi was on there in a recent keynote, I think, at some point last year, and so they've
But
had a lot.
Kojima is coming though. They're bringing Death Stranding
Oh,
and
right. Kojima was at
yeah,
a keynote. Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
like, yeah, there are definitely some major creators and labels, and I mean, it's Apple money, like, so, like, if they wanted to, absolutely they can make something like that happen, and it would be interesting to see hardware that might tap into the Apple Arcade, and they already have a built-in monthly subscription for it. Like, if you're an Apple One subscriber, to
Yeah,
get
exactly.
if you get iCloud already, if you get like the news, if you get fitness and all that stuff, Apple Arcade's just sort of bundled in there. Yeah. What
I
could
just think
be?
it makes so much sense because again, they've got those engineers, they've got the chips. At that point, it's what price would you want to hit, what kind of display, all that jazz, and
Yeah.
designing and having a nice design. And I just think with those Apple chips, whether they go with an A series and M series, like it would be better than probably what most of the is available right now in Steam Deck or with Asus or Lenovo or any of those
Hmm.
because they tend to be really good on battery life with those Apple silicon chips. I think, man, like I think it'd be crazy not to do that again, just to
Mm.
get excitement into Apple because right now Apple Arcade is just like dead. No one talks about it.
Well, folks, after Alan discussed all that stuff about Apple, I think the Microsoft gods heard him and did not like what they heard, and so he got nuked. So he wasn't able to join us here for the finale, but that covers just about everything for this week's episode of the GG Dispatch. Until next time, keep gaming. See ya.